When I was a kid, my father had the saying like, "You don't think shit stink." And this is effectively like people who you can't really educate them on, "Hey, you don't wanna go that way. That's not a right way."
Right.
But you can't give them reasons why. They're just like, "Nah, you don't know what you're talking about." And it's like,
Yeah.
"Well, you're gonna have to die to learn." It's just like,
It's
"Nah, I
true.
don't want you to have to die to learn this. I don't want you to have to lose a limb to learn." Like,
Yeah.
you
The
can
risk is too
understand
high.
things conceptually. You don't have to experience it. Those things.
Sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to make them all yourself.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, if you're not the thing that bothers me is that it's so, disproportionately I don't know, it affects the black culture
I mean,
disproportionately, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, the people who have the least amount of resources have the least amount of margin. They don't get to make a bunch of mistakes to figure it out. They get one or two chances. If you squander that, it's over. And so, in that sense, there are a lot of black people who are still poor, who are still in a significant oppression way, or at least they're significantly depressed state, where it's like, okay, you don't have the resources to guess. You don't have the resources to just operate on wishful thinking. That's not a successful strategy for anyone. And since you have nobody else to pick up the slack for you, yeah, you need to learn from other people who've tried it and tried it this way. But that requires you to do the research. It requires you to actively be open to listening to another way. And not everybody gets there. Not everybody stays there. And so therefore there's only a certain amount of people you can help. There are people who are actively looking for answers, who are trying things and failing and trying things and failing. They're like, I wish I could stop failing. I'm like, and then when they finally hit rock bottom, when they finally get desperate enough, sometimes they listen. Sometimes they're ready for another uh, suggestion as far as have you tried?
Yeah. I mean, but the tricky thing about so think of it like this. Let's say reason, because people nobody there's a continuum, right?
Right.
Because like you said, it could be taken the wrong way what you said before, like everybody who's successful uses reason. But people, when they're doing the successful thing, they typically are using reason at that time.
Mhm.
But a lot of times they flip flop from using reason to just total irrationality,
You're right. No
right?
one's
And
no one's 100% or absolutely one thing all the time.
but that's a big deal though, right? Because
Mm,
I think a lot of times what irritates me, well, it's not irritates me, but I don't like to talk in black and white terms. If I would have used black and white terms, I think there's a lot of white people who can use reason irrationally. Like it's a part of their instinct that it's almost like so think of it like a dogmatic. I
uh,
think of it like from a religious perspective, from a hey, this is how you do things. And they just like, all right, well, this is how you do things. They're not really thinking of it in depth. They thinking like, well, okay, of course I need to cut my grass, do this, that, and the other, pay my bill, blah, blah, blah. Some people pay their bills because it's something that is conscious in them, but some people just like, oh, this is what we do. This is how it's done,
what we do. These are
you
the
know.
rules we
But
follow.
even those actions, yeah, but those actions also can bring you some sort of success just by being
Yeah.
like embedded in your culture.
Yeah. If you copy the culture, you can copy the things that are successful.
Yeah, but you can pay a cost if you don't have that embedded in your culture to the point that it's past the threshold to where still you can be seen as an individual and as a group of having good lives. That's like that's a thin slice, but that thin slice can really take you from good life to bad life. You know
Real
what I'm
quickly.
saying?
Yeah. I think there's a whole lot of traditions that have been passed down that are functional in the sense of like, this is very practical and pragmatic. It's going to keep you alive. If you grow up learning all these things and these are your customs and they're doing the things that keep you alive, that's huge in comparison to people who haven't even figured it out yet, or people who reject all these traditions and just say, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing throughout the time. Like, well, people have tried that. It didn't work out great for them. We found some things that work better than others. You can learn this whole new way of life if you want and, receive these benefits or reject it and have to make it up for yourself. And sometimes it'll work and sometimes it'll be much, much worse. But yeah, the margin for error is huge.
Yeah. But it's disappointing because
Yeah,
it's just that slim. It's
it is.
just that slim. And I like that I think, John Locke said it, it's not a question of degree, it's a question of direction, you know? And because a lot of times you'll hear people say something like, "Well, if you do that, well, how much is that gonna help?" Like, wait. Help. Help is good.
Right.
When something helps, it's a good thing, you know? I'm not sitting here worried about because people will defeat themselves like, "Well, I could do this thing, and it would help." But and then they start projecting about how much is it gonna help. Like, yo, you need help.
Right.
You should start with help to get help.
It's like it's not. This may not be the best option or the perfect option. It may not, but right now you need an option, and this is here as a rung
Yes,
up the ladder. Is it the, is it the only rung? No. Is it something that's going to move you closer toward your expressed goal? It's worked that way for everybody else. You should try it. It's worth trying just from that portion.